So this is the rack and how I set it up. When I first got it, I laid out all the parts on the table. I suggest you do this because one time I did this and didn't have all the screws and had to stop in the middle of a project. So I'm just going through all the parts, going through the instructions, making sure I have the right amount of bolts and everything, and actually crossbars. So everything was there, and on to the next. The first day I set up the roof racks, took off all the sticky stuff, and then placed on the brackets. So this is the setup of the brackets before I start the process. I knew it was going to be tedious to get the glue off of here. In prep work, you should probably take a little bit more time with that because it's going to last forever. So it took about, I wanted to get an early start, so I decided to put on all the brackets on one day and then finish the next day. It took about an hour to do this. Sticker was easy to get off. The time it took the longest was actually just to clean. One of the holes wasn't centered, so I did have to Dremel, and it was super easy. I just got the Dremel with the little sanding bit and just put it in the hole and pushed it to the side, and it went pretty quick. And then I kept all these because you don't want to get any dust or anything, as least amount as possible on this. So I just leave it in the bag until it's time to drop it on. And then, yeah, super easy. What I would like to see is torque specs. I think it would be helpful that if you had inch pound or actually pound torque, to tell you what the spec is so you don't crush it. That would probably be nice. But besides that, super easy. I'm not putting it on fully tight because I know a little bit of wiggle room maybe. It needs to just adjust a little bit, and then I'm gonna put the Sikaflex on it after everything is put together. I don't want to put it on now because it'll dry and it has to adjust or anything. I definitely want to do it at the very end. So that's the process, and looks pretty good. I'll finish the rest tomorrow. Putting up the rack, got the first one in. It was a little bit of a pain to put these bolts in, but here it is. Basically, you slip it in and then you put it into these holes. But when you put it in, it falls out. So, boom, stuck a piece of cardboard, stuck these in so they hold up, and I don't have to fish my fingers in there. That's the little workaround I did. The front fairing I actually did on the ground. I measured the center point and put in the bracket and did everything. And I actually did that the night before I prepped it, before I put it on, had all the screws kind of loose. It is difficult to tighten it when it's on there, so I suggest probably doing the same. Before I start Sikaflex and everything, I'm gonna do around these brackets. There is the panel. I wired it up there. Sikaflex around there. I'm gonna probably zip tie today, and then yeah, there's everything. Here's a rack, and it's all wired up and good to go. Had to drill through the van. I picked that spot because it was past, there's a ridge line here, the bar here that goes across, so I wanted to get across the structural bar, so that's why it's there. All right, there it is. Got a little messy, but zip tied it there to come out and keep it off the van a little bit. Hopefully it won't flap in the wind. Feels pretty solid. See how that goes? That's the panel. That's what it looks like after Sikaflex. I did these. So hard not to get it on anything, but as soon as that dries, hopefully, just rub it off.